Okay, so hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar that is Prospecting 101 Strategies, Methods, and Tools to Achieve 100% Results in 40% Less Time. I'm Hiya Shah, the Product Marketing Manager at Hex Wireless, and I'll be your host for today. So, joining is Srikanth, our Business Development Executive here at Hex. So, Srikanth has been working closely with both inbound and outbound sales strategies and knows firsthand how tough prospecting can be. So, he is the best person here to help us break it down today. So, Srikanth, welcome to the session.
Thank you, yeah, for having me. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. So, prospecting is often seen as the most time consuming part of sales, but it is also the most crucial one. So, Srikanth, I'll start with the basics. So, to begin with, in simple terms, what is prospecting and why is it such an important part of the sales cycle?
Okay. So yeah. Like when first I got into the sales team, people kept throwing this word around me, like the prospecting. And at first I thought, okay, it's just means like finding people to sell the product. But the more I worked on, the more I realized that it's the foundation, the base of everything. Prospecting is simply, let's say, identifying the right people who might actually benefit from your solution. I like to think of it like planting of the seeds, like in farming. You just don't throw seeds randomly on a rocky ground or any solid surface and hope for the best. You first look on the fertile soil. In sales, if you're talking like to the right audience, even the best pitch in the world won't work. So why is it important? It's because I feel it's literally prospecting feeds the pipeline of the sales team. If you skip prospecting, it's like trying to run a business without any empty fuel tank. Okay, so deals, revenue, and growth, all of it starts here. So that's why for me, prospecting isn't just a task; it's the starting point of every sales story.
That is a great analogy, I would say. And prospecting really is like preparing the ground before planting, as you just said. So now, once we understood what prospecting is, so the next question comes is that how it is usually done, right? So, what are the most common methods that salespeople use today, both traditional and modern?
Okay, so this one's fun uh, because prospecting has really evolved with the time. Back in the day, it was all about cold calls, business cards, and meeting at the networking events, door to door selling, literally pounding the pavement. And those methods, believe it or not, still work in some industries. But if you fast forward to today, uh, today's scenario, it's like salespeople have so many more tools. Like you have got LinkedIn outreach, cold emails, uh, content-led nurturing, social selling, and even intent-based signals that tell you who's most likely to buy. For some example, if I say it's someone's been researching, like searching for CRM or downloading ebooks, that's a hint like they are in the market. Most successful salespeople don't just rely like on any one method. They just blend with the time. A cute cold call followed by a personal LinkedIn message, then maybe an email with some value addition. It's like cooking. You get the best taste when you mix ingredients, right? So I still remember one deal that I closed. It was because I first connected him on LinkedIn, then I shared a relevant article, and only then I have initiated an email. So if I had just cold called, I doubt it would have ever worked for me.
That's right. I think it's about actually mixing the right ingredients rather than just relying on one channel. Okay, great. So, usually after the first outreach comes the real challenge, that is follow-ups. So, how do salespeople usually handle follow-ups and why do they matter so much in prospecting?
Okay, so this was interesting. So follow-ups, I think follow-ups are the where the actual magic happens in any like sales conversation, or where actually everything can collapse also. A lot of people might just give up after one or two tries, but studies show it actually usually takes to like 5 to 7 touches before a prospect like can even just think about responding to you. I'll be honest, in my early days I hated following up. Like I thought like am I just annoying this person too much, like, but then I just had this one prospect who ignored me like for the first three emails straight away, but on the fourth follow up, he finally replied that thanks for your persistence. I just got busy. Let's just talk. That turned out to be like being the one of my best accounts. So now I look at follow-ups not like I look at follow-ups not as persisting, but as staying on the radar. Life happens. Your email might get buried. They might be in actual meetings. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Follow-ups keep the door open for you, and when done thoughtfully with value each time, they build trust. It's like friendship. You just don't stop texting someone if they don't reply. So you stay consistent, and that's how a relationship grows.
That's amazing. And it's right that through consistent and thoughtful follow ups, it is how relationships are built, right? So now, even though follow ups are critical, prospecting as a whole is full of challenges. So, what would you say are the biggest roadblocks that sales representatives often face when they're trying to prospect effectively?
Okay, roadblocks. Where should I start? So I think honestly there are three big roadblocks for me. I think according to me, the first would be the data quality. You spend hours building a list only to find that the half numbers that you have gathered are wrong. The email IDs they bounce, or the person might have just left the company. And after hours of researching, like it's frustrating. So that would be the first one. Second, for me, I think it would be noise. Prospects are bombarded with hundreds of messages daily, and to stand out in that clutter, it's tough. So sometimes even a personalized message gets lost. So, and according to me, the third would be the emotional grind. Hearing no 10 times in a row or worse. Hearing or like hearing nothing at all can just kill motivation. I
Yeah.
had days where I felt like, why is it like I was talking to a wall? Maybe. So that's the, but that's the tricky part. I think prospecting just looks easy on paper. It's just like you can just say like it's just to find people, reach out, just follow up. But in reality, it's a mental marathon. You need resilience, patience, and systems to just stay consistent.
Yes, that is so true. I think on paper it looks simple, but in reality it is so emotionally like difficult and draining. So, also one big issue that I've seen is time. So, studies say that sales reps spend up to 40% of their time just on prospecting. So, why does prospecting eat up so much of their time and what makes it so repetitive?
Uh, I think this was personal for me as well. Uh, I can't count how many hours I have just wasted manually copying contacts from LinkedIn, double checking the emails, updating spreadsheets, sending the same messages like what 20 times. But I think by lunch you realize you have barely had a real conversation. Let's face it, just like having the data entered in your system, that doesn't mean that you have a conversation. The problem is prospecting has so many micro steps like researching, qualifying, finding contacts, writing like outreach mails, logging updates, sending follow-ups. Like just multiply that by 50 prospects a day, and suddenly like your half of the week is gone. And because it's repetitive, it feels like draining. So it's like being stuck in a loop, like search, click, copy, paste, repeat. So that's why studies show like reps spend about like 40% of their just time to just prospect. It's not what we don't like. It's not like we don't want to sell actually. It's that the admin work eats us alive.
Okay, got it. Yes, I agree that the repetitive microtasks really do eat away a lot of productive time. Right. Okay. So now, if we look at the possible solutions, so what are some fixes or smarter ways that teams can use to cut down this time while getting better results?
Okay. Uh, I think so. The answer isn't just like work harder, it would be work smarter. And there are two big ways, and that would be the automation, and second being focus. Automation takes care of the repetitive stuff. Like you can see, like tools today in market can just auto enrich data, personalize at scale, and remind you timely for your follow-ups, and even track management. So who like basically who's most interested. So it's like having an assistant who can just like never forget anything. And second being focus. Focus is just another piece. Not every lead deserves the same attention. Like if you prioritize the high intent prospects, like obviously you will get the better ROA at your time. I learned this the hard way, I would say. Early on I chased everyone and ended up like wasting my days. And now I would say I would like rather spend my quality time on 20 strong prospects, and just spray other 200 or so. So in short, if I just say, smarter prospecting is about like freeing yourself from the grunt work, the labor work,
Yes.
so you can just do what really matters, and that is building relationships.
Well said. That is automation plus focus sounds like the winning formula. Right. Okay. So now all of this brings us to Influence. So for those who don't know, Influence has a prospecting module designed to solve exactly these issues. So Shrikant, can you walk us through how it works and how it helps our sales teams?
Absolutely. So Mfluence was built because like we have all lived here, like done the prospecting work the hard way. So Mfluence would be some uh, the module of prospecting in Mfluence would be like a command center. Okay, so you can just find validated contacts, enrich them, and just like immediately add them into your outreach sequence, like be it email, SMS, WhatsApp, and even LinkedIn, all without like jumping multiple tools. It also keeps track of who's engaging and who's not, and automatically nudges you for follow-ups. The way I describe it, it would be like upgrading from a manual car to a or like manual gear to an automatic one. You are still driving, but the ride gets smoother, faster, and it would be less exhausting.
Right. Okay, so I like that. That is shifting from manual to automatic makes prospecting feel so much smoother. Right. So, specifically, how does it make finding the right people and companies faster? And like, how does it simplify the outreach and follow-up processes?
Okay, so normally, like finding people means like hours of scrolling LinkedIn, company websites, or outdated spreadsheets. But I think so with influence, you just define your ICP. Let's say, let's say tech companies between 200 to 500 employees in a North America region, and instantly you get a clean and validated list. Then comes the outreach part. Like instead of writing one of emails, you build a sequence. Let's say for example, on day one, email. On day three, LinkedIn connect. And on day seven, you just ping on WhatsApp. The system handles the scheduling, and it gives you the part for personalization, and also get your personalized reminder section also. So for me, I think so. With influence, the follow-ups are even easier. If someone hasn't replied, the system either nudges you to take a action or sends a polite follow-up automatically. So you are never in danger of dropping the ball.
That is powerful, I would say. Having sequences mapped out means even representatives never miss anything, right? Okay. So, Shrikant, finally, could you share an example or scenario where the prospecting module made a clear difference in productivity or results for a team?
Yes. So one of my favorite ones would be a mid-sized SaaS company came to us frustrated. Like their team spent like 15 to 20 hours weekly just building lists and sending first touch emails. They barely had time for the real conversation. And I think so. Like after our first meeting and after their configuration with Mfluence, the list building dropped from hours to minutes. Follow-ups ran on auto, so reps only stepped in when a prospect has actually engaged. In 3 months, their meetings bookings, I think so, they jumped from by like let's say 40%. And but the best part was actually when I spoke to their VP or like head of sales, she said for the first time my team feels like they are selling again, not doing the data entry. So that's for me is the real win.
That is impressive. I would say that turning admin time into selling time. So yeah, that would have made real difference. Okay, great. So let's address the audience now. So the audience, it's now your turn. So if you have any questions regarding today's webinar or using Mfluence, you can drop them in the chat, and let's take a few and have Srikanth answer them live. Okay, so we have the first question right here. It says that how do you balance personalization with automation in prospecting? Doesn't automation make messages feel robotic?
That's a great question. So automation handles the structure and timing, but the personalization is where you add your human touch. Like even one custom like mentioning their company news or the company name makes a huge difference. Like think of automation as the backbone and the personalization of done by you as the heart.
Okay. Okay. Um, there is one more question. It says that you mentioned it takes 5 to 7 follow-ups. How do you know when to stop so it doesn't feel like spam?
Okay, so I usually cap the follow-ups like between 6 to 7 thoughtful touches over like spread over a couple of weeks. So if there's still no response after 6 or 7 touches, I either pause or just circle back after a few months. The key is adding value each time and just not just repeating the checking updates.
Okay. Um, I'll take one more question. It says that what is your advice for reps who feel demotivated after constant rejections or no replies?
Okay, so let's be real. Honestly, like we have all been there. So I remind myself it's not just a personal rejection, it's just the timing or the priorities. Tracking small wins helps too. Like getting like even getting a reply, like let's say a negative reply, let's say no, and having the right tools cuts down the grind. So you can just focus on the real conversations, which is may more like energizing for you.
Right. Okay. Okay, I'll take one last question as we are running out of time. So the question is that how is Influence different from using LinkedIn Sales Navigator or a CRM with outreach plugins?
Okay, so let's say the biggest difference that influence brings uh, is like everything into one place, like everything into one workflow, like validated data, multi-channel outreach, and follow-ups without jumping into different tools. With Sales Navigator or CRM add-ons, you are still stitching things together, but with influence, you are just simplifying it.
Okay, great. Okay, so thank you so much, Srikanth, for those insights. Prospecting will always remain a core part of sales, but as we've seen, smarter strategies and the right tools can save time and drive even better results. So for those of you that are interested in seeing Mfluence Prospecting Module in action, we would be happy to schedule a personalized demo. And we'll also be sharing the recording of today's webinar with you shortly. And thank you for everyone who joined us today.
Thank you, guys.